Good evening. We bring you the latest in the world of sports. I'm Paulo Del Rosario.
We give you the conversations you want to hear from your favorite icons and athletes. I'm Diego Dario. And in tonight's game plan, we'll put the spotlight on athletes on the pitch and on the field ahead of the Southeast Asian Games in Cambodia.
Buckle up, sports fans. Let's get in the game. Well, the future is looking bright for the Filipinas as they advance to the second round of the AFC Olympic Qualifiers. Now, but before that, they will be on a quest to remain on the podium and hopefully on top of the Southeast Asian Games. Let's hear more from the national women's football team members, Ina Palacios and Hailey Long. Welcome back to the show. Always great to have you. I know you're sick of me. You see me all.
They're not sick of you, pal. They're not.
I guess. I don't know.
I can say.
I don't know about that. But I want to start off first with Hailey because again, advancing to the next round of the AFC Olympic Qualifiers is obviously always a big deal for the Filipinas. But it feels different now because of the fact that the expectations have risen. The performance that you had was really, really great. 0 goals conceded, 16 goals scored. Just how are you girls feeling going into the next round?
We're feeling really good. I mean, like you said, there's expectations now that we had such a busy and successful 2022. But we always say on the team, pressure is a privilege, and that is something we learn to absorb and grow with every day. So we don't like to expect wins all the time, but always just expect to do our best and continue the growth we have as a team.
And talking about growth and doing your best, Ina, the team had a 3-0 record in this one. What's the winning formula? What did you guys do, to achieve this?
I think it's just the mindset that we all have, that winning mindset, winning the moment, as we call it, and we're just really working on how to be better as a team and moving forward, how we can use that one in preparation for the SEA Games. So I think we did a good job in preparing in that sense. We used that tournament, the Olympic qualifiers, as like a preparation for us leading up to the SEA Games.
And just a quick follow-up, athlete to athlete here, talking about those habits, what kind of habits...
I can't add anything to this, by the way.
What kind of habits were you guys working on all throughout? I mean, leading into all the leagues that you're gonna be playing in?
I mean, there are a lot. It's about the little details at this point. As elite athletes, it's really about the details, how you can make your game even better.
On and off the court.
On and off the court. So more than just physical, it's also a lot of mental preparation.
Hailey, I know when we were going through the questions a while ago, one of the questions was, how do you at least maintain the spot on the podium? But then that's not the expectation this year, is it? Going into the Southeast Asian Games, you ended up with a bronze last time. A bit of a disappointing campaign considering where your girls came from. How are you looking at this next campaign?
I mean, it is the next challenge we have before going into our camp before the World Cup. It's not something we're going to take lightly or think will come easy, because the bronze definitely didn't come easy, but it would definitely be a goal to push ourselves and keep ourselves on the podium, of course. But we always want to be better, as every athlete wants to be. So for me, it's bronze or gold kind of thing. It's like you don't want to go to the finals and lose.
And lose it, yeah.
It's at least my final game, I'm in a winning spot.
Because you can never win silver.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's a great point.
Yeah, you can never win silver. But
unless it's league tied.
okay, but we're not gonna go dive deep into that. Actually, I want to ask you, looking at the competition right now, because I don't remember the last time the Filipinas were actually looked at as the team to beat almost exclusively. This is the team that you have to take down. The way your girls dominated the AFF Women's Championship and now going to Southeast Asian Games. You take a look at the groupings, you take a look at how everything could shape up. How are you feeling about where the team is at least looking at the competition right now?
I think there's a big chance that we will perform and we will do our best, because like what Hailey said, we just want to keep on growing and continue on improving ourselves, and we expect nothing less. And last year we were third, and like what you said, coming from a big tournament of just qualifying for the World Cup, and then you go into SEA Games and then you fall short of third, it's kind of puts us on the ground and really humble us in that experience that it is a ball game and anyone can win at any point, and you just have to make sure that you're the team that really wants to win it the best.
Well, except for silver, you can't win silver.
Right,
Again, unless it's
No. All right.
Well, when you're playing a sport, the only thing you can control basically is your work and how the results will just come, right? But we're just a few weeks away from the SEA Games and the preparations you have leading into that Cambodia trip. How would you assess the team's preparation for that, Haley?
We were actually discussing this like before we got here
Yeah.
because it's hard to say specifically what we're doing as a team because, like Ina said, we're in a unique situation. We each have our own experiences because we are all over the globe right now. We're the two here now, so we're each doing our work on and off the pitch, but more in particular off the pitch. Like Ina said, it's about the details. It's about showing up when you don't want to. It's about eating what you should and fueling yourself, getting adequate sleep. It's all these little details that affect how you perform because we're all athletes here, so we know
Even
the
Pao.
recipe.
Yeah.
I was gonna
We
say
know the
I'm
recipe,
a
right?
professional
Oh, for
athlete
sure.
watcher. But Ina, when you take a look at where the Filipinas are at right now and where you girls are going, I know you know this as a very long-suffering football fan, and in the country, what do you think needs to be done to make sure that you girls have the right support, or even more support rather, going into this next chapter, and of course, making sure it's sustainable beyond the World Cup and hopefully to a deeper Olympic
The
campaign?
perfect question for
No,
Ina.
Yeah, no, I had to ask her, right? Yeah.
No, I like how you said consistency and continuity because it's what we need, continuity of the program, and to prove and to tell everyone that it's not a one-time thing. Like we're here to make sure that we're developing the sport, not just fan base, but the sport itself here in the country because it deserves it. And to be able to do that, there's a lot of investment that needs to be done from everyone, like all the stakeholders in the sport. So it would really take a lot of effort, both as a spectator, as a player, and everyone that involves the sport, and not just for football. I think sports in general here in the Philippines, we need to consider it as a career so that people will have to look forward, or they can look forward to something that they can do outside collegiate level, that there is a professional level.
Ladies, we really appreciate the time you spent coming over here. I always enjoy it. Diego knows I light up every time we talk football.
Every time.
Every
Even
time.
away from this
We're
show.
talking about football after the show,
Every
by the way.
time.
Ina, Haley, I really appreciate the both of you. Good luck in the SEA
Thank
Games.
you.
Thank you
Thank
so
you for having
much.
us.
And after the break, we'll catch up with our country's pole vaulting superstar, EJ Obiena, as he looks ahead to the upcoming Southeast Asian Games. Stay tuned. You're watching The Game. Welcome back, you're watching The Game. World number 3 pole vaulter EJ Obiena is looking to kick off another stellar season by representing the country at the Southeast Asian Games. He talks about his preparations for Cambodia in this SEA Games edition of Inside the Game.
EJ Obiena, thank you very much for joining us all the way from sunny Spain. How has your season been? How are you? And how are you in terms of your preparations or, in going into your next competitions?
I mean, training is going well. Not enjoying it at the moment because Vitaly is killing me every single day. We're doing at least 10 sessions a week, which is brutal for the body, but that's the time, that's the period that we need to do it. So I'm guessing we're heading in the right direction, slowly feeling stronger and faster again, and a little bit faster, a little bit stronger as well. So I'm looking forward to opening the season, and let's see what all these work would propel me to.
Obviously, expectation is that next for you is the Southeast Asian Games in Cambodia. This has been a tournament, a meet that, let's put it politely, you have really dominated. It feels easy, at least watching you do it. I know no competition ever is, but then you take a look at what the SEA Games represents in terms of your season and what you expect to do. How were you approaching this particular edition of the Southeast Asian Games?
There's a lot of things going on for me this year. I'm looking at Southeast Asian Games as an opener. This is a meet that's ranking-wise, performance-wise, it's not very important for me this year. But it's very important for the country. Therefore, it's one of the most important meets for me as well. It's a meet that I've been doing quite often. I think it's going to be my 4th Southeast Asian Games. Every time I wear that vest, I need to show up. I need to be at the best possible way. But at the same time, I need to be smart on how my season is going to go. It's not a secret. I'm not going to be there 100%. It's not going to be where I'm like, okay, I'm jumping 590s. No, I'm not going to peak for the Southeast Asian Games. I'm going to be ready for it. That's how my coach and I agreed to plan this season, because if I decide to prepare for this, then Asian Games would then suffer at the later part of my season. It's important, definitely. I can promise I'll do my best and definitely aim for that win. I think the height really does not matter. It's the medals that the Team Philippines is going to bring back to Philippines. So bring home the gold, and the rest is bonus.
Mr. Lafferty, as we all know, always has high hopes for you, and he hopes that you would break your own personal record this season of 5.94. Obviously, that's what you're trying to build to, based on what you're telling me right now in terms of your training and how difficult it is. How realistic is that for you in the near future, knowing that Southeast Asian Games is probably going to be the start of your build-up to reach that goal?
It depends on how preparation is going to be. So far right now, my body's really broken down. Like I'm really exhausted. We just ended the 3-week cycle right now, and if you ask me to jump right now, I wouldn't be able to jump high. So it's all in the matter of how my body recovers going into the Southeast Asian Games and how sharp I am with my technique. Right now, the way I approach Southeast Asian Games specifically is I want to win. So whatever height it would require, that would be the height that I need to jump. So hopefully not 590s, but I would still want to jump that. But the main goal is to win. For the rest of the season, by July, I'll be on fire. I'll be hitting the marks that I need, and I'm hitting the poles that I need, and hopefully just fine-tuning little bits of jumps. And because that's where our qualification starts for Paris. So July 2, I'll be competing in Stockholm in Mondo's house. That'll be the meet that hopefully would give me the ticket to Paris straight away. I would want to be peaking at that point, and then World Championship would be in August, late August. Then we have, of course, the Asian Games later part of the year.
Since we're talking about Paris and since we're talking about that goal, obviously it's always going to be in the back of your head. How do I get to Paris? How do I peak at Paris? How do I make sure that I'm competing for a podium place in Paris? It's 1 year away. How hard is it not to be distracted by something a year away compared to what you're seeing? Southeast Asian Games, Mondo's Classic, Asian Games. How do you focus on those without really getting distracted by the idea of competing at your peak in Paris?
You can peak multiple times. The good thing about Paris, it's 2 seasons away, one indoor, one outdoor. This is going to be the last outdoor season before Paris. This is why, for me, it's pretty easy to segregate it because I've been following the European season, so I need to peak this year anyhow because we have the World Championship, we have the Asian Games, so that's the major competitions for me. That's what I'm eyeing on. That's what all these trainings are for. All these trainings I'm doing is going to carry over for the next year indoor season where we have the World Indoor Championship, and all those preparation would carry then to Paris.
I remember your last tour, at least in the region. It feels like you are now more aware that you're inspiring more of our people here, and people even around the region. You look at Southeast Asia, a lot of people already know they're probably going to be watching the EJ Obiena show when it comes to pole vaulting. Has that hit you on a personal level? And of course, how does that make your life easier or harder in the craft that you do?
The positive things of this is, of course, I hopefully inspire the next Filipino pole vaulters, and I want to make sure that all these momentum that I'm hopefully building would be producing one of the best, if not the best, pole vaulting era in the Philippine pole vault community and history of the Southeast Asian region. It's something that I would hope to be there for quite a long time after I retire. I would hate to see pole vaulting in the Philippines die when I retire. Then why am I going all through this pain? Why am I fighting all these battles? Why am I doing all of this if it wouldn't be for the golden age of Philippine pole vaulting at the very least?
That was world number 3 pole vaulter EJ Obiena, and we wish him all the best of luck in the upcoming SEA Games and beyond. After the break, we'll go back to the pitch as we talk about the latest events happening in football sevens. Stay tuned. You're watching The Game.
Welcome back, you're watching The Game. In just a few days, the BPI AIA Asia Sevens will hold its first ever championship cup, including 4 teams across Asia. The event will be held from April 21 to 23. Now, joining us to talk about the tournament is AIA Sevens representative Anton Del Rosario and Team Brunei representative Alec. And Alec, Anton, welcome to The Game.
Thank you very much for having us, man. Really excited to be able to talk some football with you guys.
All right, Anton, let's start it off with this, Asia Sevens. First of all, how can you explain this to all the viewers? What is Asia Sevens? It came from, being a local tournament. Now it's becoming an international tournament. Can you talk to us about that journey as well?
All right, so in a nutshell, right, 7-a-side football started out here in 2018. We started with 8 teams, and then post-pandemic, we're in 10 cities with 350 plus teams across the country, right? To give you a brief background about 7-a-side football, right? Normally football is played 11 versus 11,
Right.
but 7-a-side football is starting to gain a lot of traction,
Yeah.
right? FIFA doesn't own 7-a-side football. They only own 11-a-side futsal and beach soccer. So we're here looking to create the AFC for 7-a-side football.
Well, it's an incredible journey. For those wondering kung may layman's terms yan, it's as if basketball had the 5-on-5, then you have the 3x3.
Right,
Ito naman, 7-a-side,
Well explained,
and the 11-side football.
Exactly.
Alec, you're coming in here representing Brunei. It's an international thing. First of all, do you believe everything Anton says?
Yeah.
And second, when you talk about representing Brunei, how does that feel? You're actually representing Brunei against nations playing football.
Well, I feel very honored to be given the opportunity to play for the Asia 7-a-side. I think our team is quite ready for the game this weekend. Yeah.
And of course, you'll be going up against other international teams there with a cash prize of $25,000, if I'm not mistaken there, Anton. You take a look at what else you have in store for the sevens. The women's just had their tournament recently. Can you tell us a bit about that? And of course, what more do you have planned for the local teams?
So last weekend we had what's called the Women's Campeon Cup, right? In essence, it's like the Women's Nationals. So in 6 of the cities that we operate in, we have the organizer select the best players from the women's division, and then we fly them all to one city to represent their city, right? So last week we had Pampanga, Batangas, Muntinlupa, BGC, Cebu, and Palawan all come over here, and it was great. We were able to see talent from Palawan, from Cebu, from all of these other places, and it shows that football is alive and well in all these locations. And it shows that there's great development, But of course, BGC having different national team women on the team, they ended up taking home the trophy.
And for all the fans, watching, how is it like, watching all these tournaments, these local, how's the vibe like inside the stadiums?
It's great, I mean, we get, close to 1,000 people watching every game. We have 3,000 plus people coming to the stadium every weekend. So, I mean, it's a great vibe. It's exciting. 7-a-side football is very end-to-end.
Yeah.
So we average about 6 goals a game in 50 minutes, rather than, normal football is probably about 2 goals a game in 90 minutes.
I play it, it's tiring. But Alec, when you take a look at the competition that you guys had in terms of preparation. Yeah, you talk about the preparation of your team and, of course, what you expect from your group going into your tournament.
We're gonna show our best for the tournament because during this time is a Ramadan back in our country, so we're fasting. So the training is a bit the time crammed. So we'll try our best for the upcoming tournament.
And of course, having
against Japan, India, and Philippines. I think.
All the other countries.
Yeah.
you just list down the names of the teams that you're going to go up against, and it already feels tough. But Anton, you take a look at, of course, all the developments. For those who want to come out and see it live, or those who want to stream it, how can they do that? You can do it in that camera right there.
Please come check us out this weekend at McKinley Hill Stadium. We'll be kicking off Friday, 7 p.m. Saturday, we'll be having kids in the morning. Come join us, and then we have our games later on in the early afternoon, 2 p.m. and I believe 4 p.m. Come out there, have fun, bring your family, bring your friends, and you'll be able to stream us on Tap Go.
Yes, sir.
Anton, Alec, we really appreciate the time you took out and talk a bit more football. So this is really my kind of day. Really appreciate both of you.
Thank you, guys.
Appreciate you guys. Thank you very much for the time.
Thank you.
Now, in other news, Philippine sports is in mourning today after the death of sportscaster and official Ed Picson. Picson's alma mater, Letran, confirmed the news this morning. He was 69. Picson was famously known as a commentator for both the PBA and the boxing program Blow by Blow. He was also president of the Association of Boxing Alliances in the Philippines, which oversaw a successful campaign for Filipino boxers in the 2020 Tokyo Olympics. On behalf of my partner, Diego Dario, I'm Paulo De Rosario for The Game. We'll see you around.